We're working with the understanding of containerization, right? So containerization, guys. Containerization is all about, like this is a definition. So it is all about an application bundled with its required dependencies. That is a simple definition. Okay. So generally I inform that people to remember like A by B formula. A by B. So most of the classes I'll tell that just remember a simple formula A by B. So here A is nothing but your application and B is nothing but dependency. Okay. So application will run only upon its required dependency. So if it runs on its required dependency, then unnecessary stuff will not be there. Only appropriate use of the memory will be in use. No wastage. Biggest thing is cost cutting. And absolutely this technology is free. Is another great advantage. So frankly to say, this technology works much faster than an application hosted on web server. That is another super interesting point. So that is the reason now when this containerization evolved and becoming popular currently in the DevOps, we see the relevance of the web server technologies is going down. Am I clear, guys? Are you understanding what I'm talking? This is an interesting point. So the use case of the web servers, predominant dependency, or we can say in agile era, application was heavily hosted on web server technologies like Tomcat, Apache. Okay. But today the applications are being hosted on web servers because of lot of today we are hosting on containers because of lot of technology enhancement, and also it is easy. So we already saw this kind of points here. So containerization, evolution, I think I already told you. And if you're talking about the some of the counter, so if you want to see what is a Docker here. Now, very interesting point is this containerization technology evolved and successful in the Linux platform. Currently in the market also 99% of the IT companies are using the Docker and Kubernetes on Linux platform. Okay. So those who want to make very good career are aiming at the Docker and Kubernetes to make the career, right? So the fundamental stuff is you have to be strong with the Linux. Do you agree with me? Because it sits upon the Linux. 99% the market is using Linux. So that is the reason the great advantage of the Linux gives you the great advantages of managing the Docker and Kubernetes also. So don't take your Linux classes light. So please make sure that you work with your Linux fundamentals also properly. Then this Docker language, this Docker stuff has been developed in Go language, guys. So they used a language called Go, and some of the containerized applications counter products like you hear about Docker. There are brands called Jail, there are brands called Rocket, Creo, etc. Got it? Nice. Then if you're talking about the benefits of containerization, so which is one of the very popular questions. So what happens when you host the application on containerization? So that containerization technology is specific to the app. Space utilization, we are using it great. So we only run the services only specific to the application. No booting process. This is another, because containerization technology, though we said it is a mini kind of a stuff, but actually it does not involve in the booting process. That's the reason the application, when you fire, it quickly comes up in a fraction of a second. And these applications are highly scalable. On demand, you can scale it up. On, let's say there is no demand, we can scale down. So scale up and scale down are super easy. And these are entirely operates independently, secure. Interestingly, it is more secure than your web server, as I already told you, and better CPU utilizations And memory use cases are found that it is far better than hosting on VMware. And this technology, in fact, is an outcome of your VMware technology. Now, if you're bothering about the Docker, so basically in the Docker, we have two variants, guys. Okay. So in the Docker, we have two variants. First one is community edition, which we call it as an open source. And we have something called enterprise edition. So generally, most of the tools in DevOps, we see two types will be there. One is open source and other one is enterprise. So I'll ask a quick question since you guys are almost 70% you're reaching your syllabus. So tell me the DevOps tool that you have learned so far, which is available free, but there is no enterprise edition in it. We don't have enterprise edition. No need to buy the license for it. Jenkins is the answer. In the Git also you have the enterprise edition, guys. You can buy. Okay, GitHub also you can buy. But when you talk about the Dockers, so got it now? Jenkins is entirely free. There is no enterprise edition, no pricing policy stuff there. If you want to install, it's free. Okay, so Docker is free. Enterprise edition, you need to buy the license. The next, Docker based terminologies, you keep on hearing them. So what is this? I'll let you know shortly. Okay, so let's talk about the each stuff in small words. Okay, so please take down this into your books now. So entire terminologies, guys, from where did these terminologies are coming? So let's take it. This is your mission. Let's say this is a mission. And here, I guess you'll have operating system, that is one. Upon the operating system, first you'll have the hardware, then operating system, then yeah, correct. Now it's like 4 floors. So let's write the points. Please take down this diagram. So this is your hardware, base hardware, laptop or a desktop it can be, or server it can be. So upon that, we have to install the operating system. So Linux or Windows. Now you have to be very careful in understanding here. 99% of the IT community is using Linux only. So when the Docker container technology was itself developed, they started testing on Linux only. Recently from 2018, so we are in 23 now. So recently we are entered 23, but from 18 onwards, it starts working on Windows. So prior to 18, this technology was a failure concept in Windows and also in the Mac. So that's the reason 99% it is Linux. Now, okay, upon this, you'll install something called container engine. CE we call it as in short. It's something like a brand there. So whether you want to go with a brand called, let's talk about the brands. So we have a lot of brands here. So let's say it's up to you. You want to use Docker, whether you want to use Jail, whether you want to use Creo. What is the other word? CRIO, Creo, etc. I've just written only 3 brands. A lot of brands are there in the market. So for your understanding, I'm just saying that there are 3 brands are there. So Docker, Jail, Creo, etc. So out of these brands, we are trying to learn the Docker. So the software which helps you to set up the containerization technology on a single piece of a hardware or any computer, we can call that softwares as container engines. Am I clear on this point? Like in last class, I told you that we use a terminology called hypervisor to differentiate, telling that hypervisors are the softwares which help us to implement visualization. antivirus or antivirus kind of softwares. These are the softwares which will help us to fight with viruses, correct? Likewise here, we have a special term called container engine. Am I clear, Anuja, Arun, Atif, Ranga? So terms are important, guys. You need to, when you're talking in the interview also, you have to use terminologies. And that guy may talk in terminology, and if you don't understand, that's a trouble. Okay. So container is a special word that you have to apply when you're talking about the softwares which are used for setup of your containerization. So Docker, you guys are learning the Docker. So in simple words, can I say I'm using Docker engine? Just an example, guys. Can I say like I'm using Docker engine, or am I learning Docker engine? We're not planning to learn Jail or Acrio. We're planning to learn Docker. So that is how you need to say. So once you have the set up the Docker, so let's go with let's say branding. Okay. So we chosen this brand. So in this containerization engine, we choose. So once you have the container engine set up, that is where you guys will develop the container images. I'm just putting the stars. Okay. Container images. So whatever these red stars that I have written here, so those are called container images. Right? These are called container images. So this image is nothing but your, as I told you, these are nothing but your A by B. So in the each image, you can create a number of images, guys. So you'll understand shortly how it works. Then we'll come back to this diagram. So each image, or let's consider only one image for our understanding. So not to have confusion, so we'll think that only one image has been created. So this image, from this image, got it? 1 second, guys. Okay, deployment done now. What is done now? 1 second, guys. I want to check the deployments. Okay. So 1 second, quickly, let me give the reply. We're doing is. So let me update the sheet. Give me a minute, guys, quickly, because UAT versions, UAT steps. So just let's say I have done. So what's the time in EST now? 10:30. So what I need to write here, 10:30. Okay. Fine, guys. So let's go back to our concept. Let me shut down this for a minute. Otherwise, my work is done for the day. Okay. So what we are planning to do. So what I'm trying to tell you is, So upon the container engine, let's say Docker, we'll try to use container images, right? So we'll create the container images. So from the container image, so actually this container image, which we are talking about, this guy, right? So this guy, whatever you're talking, so this actually contains your application, this one, your A by B format. Okay, so A by B format. A is nothing but our application, B is nothing but dependency. So that means you are making your parent. I would call this as P. Okay, for our reference only, guys. So this is called as parent. So once the parent is ready, got it? Can you hear me, guys? Did my voice? How many minutes it has been? Is it like 1 minute